Radio Gaga, Radio blah blah, Radio
was king. Someone still hates you. Okay.
I like it when you set me up for stuff to use for the intro.
I know.
Those little pieces before.
Those little gems. Not the one I'm talking about, massive defecation or whatever. That was enchanting.
Yeah. Speaking of the Twitch show going to have to be PG, I was listening to one the other day and it might have been like 55 or something, where it opens up with, and this patient shit all over the place. I was like, all right, we got 3 seconds in before we had our first cursing.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know I was being set up or whatever.
Well, no, I'm just saying. If you went back and listened to some of the old shows and was like, how much cursing do we have in there or something? Because we're not regulated right now. We're free flowing.
There's one where, like I said, I came back and apologized the next time because I felt like I was a little blue the time before.
In the before times.
In the timey times. Oh, there we go. I thought I'd lost all my pre-topic stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was like, no.
I thought you were about to be like.
Apparently we're not pre-recording, so.
Oh, we're pre-recording.
Oh, you nerd. I don't know what the hell that means. We'll find out later. Okay.
Hopefully they will enjoy the clicking sound of our mints.
Minty fresh.
Please enjoy the clicking.
Well, actually, are you familiar with ASMR?
Yep.
Why am I not surprised? And so apparently that's like ear licking and clicking noises. It's supposed to be somehow magical for people or some shit.
It's magical. It's magical and mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
I must have your mic this time. It's not loud enough.
We're on.
You're loud enough.
Oh my.
But it's important. It's more important that the listeners hear me.
Duh.
The voice of reason.
In your own special little mind. Booty, 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 booty. Ow.
You passed your luck check. It's
The No Class Podcast.
with your totally engaged hosts, Eddie.
And what's his face? Matt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
He used to hang around these parts.
That's right. Those were the days.
But then,
That's
always the best.
explosive.
Instead of being a yes and GM, be a but then GM. It's a lot more interesting for your players.
And also,
no, because
I said anyway. No. Okay, Grognard. Anyway.
So this is episode number 57. Can you believe it?
This is a travesty. This went on this long.
Well, okay. So our faithful listeners out there know that there is a Twitch show coming up.
What?
Do you think we'll get to episode 60 before the first episode of the Twitch show?
How is that possible?
58, 59, 60.
Possibly.
57.
There's been times when we've had pauses, and there's times where we've kind of doubled up. So, never say never, Trevor.
If we get 3 in, it's highly possible.
Only 3?
Yeah.
That's a tease.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
They should get 2 a month when we're on.
Right. If we're on
firing
track,
all cylinders.
Yeah, all the cylinders. And actually, we're not going to do our Twitch until late in the month if things go as projected.
And we've got a potential Gary Con show.
Ooh la la.
I guess right now episode 60 is probably Gary Con.
Well, we're not hauling this crap there, but we're going to talk about it when we get back.
Yeah.
Or what could be the odds? We wouldn't want to haul this crap.
Well, the thing is, remember, we're in with the Goodman Games Twitch, so we might be able to use some of their equipment and do some stuff there.
Ooh,
we'll see. I doubt it, because we are the very lowest rung on the poop ladder. Elena.
Which is it?
I think it was Elena, wasn't it?
Oh, God. Now you're going to get that in my head. It's probably wrong. Anyway.
It's spelled Alana. Remember that?
Yeah.
but it's pronounced Elena.
Elena, I think. Yeah. You may be right.
And I'm going to have to edit all of this.
Good.
Or should I? I'm really, really lazy.
I see that.
The less that I edit, the faster the listeners get it.
Exactly. I've seen one time you needed to edit when it was minimal and there was a little bit of a delay, but I didn't say boo because I'm not the one doing the work. It'd be a hell of an
As usual. As normal.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Eddie does all the work. All this, those shoulders are so broad and strong. He carries us both through night and day, through snow uphill both ways, barbed wire for shoes. Woe is me.
And what do I get?
Grief.
Exactly.
All right.
Last podcast. This is it. We'll just end it all right here.
Tell me this is the truth.
No more podcasts, no Twitch show, no more conventions,
Death,
nothing.
Where's thy sting? So we usually lead out talking about
It's over with.
the long con.
That we just ended it right here on
It's
air.
over?
That's it. No more long cons.
It's not over till it's over.
Yep.
It's not. Oh, well.
This is it. Friendship over, folks. This is it. This is the last time you'll see me and Matt in the same room.
I knew this day would come. I knew it. But that's a shame because we're down as a couple for NTRPG.
That's for everything in life. We're getting invited to weddings together.
Yeah, I know.
It's all these things.
What a world. What a world.
You're going to have to get remarried again so we have some more cover.
Exactly.
I, as the happily married man.
Is he
But
ever?
you're going to have to hold up your end there. As you've heard many times.
Well, I could probably stay married if I was as good a husband as you are. Say what you will about this jerk. He is a good husband.
Man, this is coming out all right for me today.
Yeah, no,
He does all the work. He's the perfect husband.
I know.
Hello, ladies.
That's right.
Hello, our one lady listener. Which is being forced to listen to this by some guy.
Yeah.
It's the female listeners are my mother-in-law.
Yeah, but actually Adrian listens, I think.
That's true.
I think Adrian, we love Adrian.
And I was going to say our buddy Nicole, maybe Doug.
Yeah, Doug probably twists her arm, poor thing, you know. I like Doug comes up and points at the design on the T-shirt and goes, "Which one are you?" I said, "The one with the beard." Anyway, so.
All right, that's it. It's all over again. In this whole charade, shenanigan. Just remember, folks, these are the kind of witticisms you tuned in for.
Yeah, we're so sorry.
So it's all back on. We're back.
Yay. Just when you thought we were out, they pulled us back in.
Just when it looked darkest.
That's right. Just when your hopes were getting up. All right.
So did you want to say something about MalongCon?
I thought we didn't talk about that in public.
MalongCon. The internationally renowned Long Con.
The greatest con that East Texas has ever known or may ever will know.
This really is recording.
Good. I know it's sad, isn't it?
The goofiest episode so far.
Yeah, I know. But apparently they slipped a little something in the Sunbird today. Or the tea we got from,
Heritage.
The Long Con.
Yeah, it's on you. I set it up. Now you got to hit it.
Holiday Inn off of Hawkins. Enjoy the click or smack there.
You can be living in sin at the Holiday Inn.
An awesome venue. It's phenomenal. It's way better than our old venue, and they're gonna be doing some great stuff for all of us. We're really excited. We're looking at having Brendan LaSalle, and I have a strong suspicion that we're going to have David Beatty back. Ooh la la! I think it's the first time we've confirmed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's cool. It's awesome.
See, this is when it'll be a wonderful Twitch show.
Oh yeah.
If people could see my face right now.
I know. The facial expressions are the best around. I'm
best in the business.
Absolutely disturbed that we won't have our editing safety net because we can be a little blue and a little raunchy. So
not anymore.
I know. Well, if you enjoy that bit of our shtick, you can get that here. You'll still get your fix here.
Your blue.
Your blue
material.
Your blue material.
And I bet there'll be a lot of stuff on there that we have to refer to.
His
like
dark material.
We'll catch you back up on the podcast.
Yeah.
We won't talk about it here, but if you want to hear the full story.
Yeah, I was laughing. He's like, so what's the benefit of the Twitch? I said, typical. We're going to shill for our con and our podcast.
I said that?
I said we're going to shill.
And I ask you?
Yeah, you did.
I ask you.
You did. You did.
You've seen that movie Casino, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember the part where he's having his trial? Robert De Niro?
Uh-huh.
He's having his trial, and he's like, was I at least at the dinner? Will you do me the courtesy? Was I at the dinner?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's how this conversation is going to play out.
Exactly. Oh, man.
Only with more swearing.
Even more swearing.
We'll make it even. Did you shampoo my wife? Did you ever see that one, that SNL skit?
No.
So go look that up today. That's, I think it's De Niro and Pesci where they did Raging Bull.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bleep my wife? Did you bleep and bleep my bleeping wife? But they change it to shampoo. Mm-hmm. So everything is, did you shampoo my shampoo and wife? So go look that up, kids. It's going to be a very odd episode today.
Definitely. And I like that odd energy. In honor of getting in on the most gonzo of games on their Twitch stream. Make it weird. Keep Longview weird.
You should move to Austin.
No, thank you.
That would have been a perfect one for that video reaction of Matt's.
Yeah. The horror and revulsion on my face. The People's Republic of Austin. That's for you, Ron. But anyway.
So one thing I can give you for a Long Con update.
Yes, sir.
Art Garfunkel will be attending.
Who arted in here?
But no, we have our lovely Lich art pretty much done.
It looks gorgeous cool.
So if you like this new level of art we've got, we are continuing the trend.
We're upping our game. Now up yours. Okay.
Make 7 up yours.
That's right. 7 and 7. All right. So yeah, things are really exciting. They're building. So we're going to GaryCon here in about a month.
Gary.
And so that's exciting because that's our first time going to GaryCon. But in the time of the COVID, we got to wear face diapers, that'll be great.
The whole time.
Have our shot record, tattooed.
The whole shot record.
On our face, on our forehead. But, oh well, I'll get to play the deaf man game. Huh? What? Could you speak up?
Huh?
Come sit closer to me, mumbler wearing a mask. It'll be great.
So let me ask you this. With all that aside, do you think this will be your first and last trip?
To GaryCon? Probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
Absolutely. Well, because first of all, and it said we had to build our rep. I mean, it's good in a way. It's kind of humbling because like the first time that I ran at NTRPG and I did all this work, beautiful miniature painting, did all this whole diorama type, lovingly created play surface for all these miniatures I worked on and kit bashed. And then 2 signups, no shows. People would walk by and go, oh my God, that looks amazing. I'm like, yeah, I want to play. Nah, I already have a game. And so, but once we had built our rep there, and not to brag, but I just plainly humbled myself and told them how crappy the very first time or so were. It got where now, I mean, when we post our games midnight, our tables fill up. And I thank everybody for that. It feels so good. But here we are starting over again, kind of. They don't know us up at GaryCon. I don't know about you, but like I have 1 sign up for my 1 game.
The funny thing is going to be when you get all the people that go to NTRPG and GaryCon, and those are the people you've had signed up, the people that know you from NTRPG.
Yeah.
That'll be the funny thing, that you will meet absolutely no new people.
Yeah. Because the whole idea, we wanted to meet new people and shake hands. One thing like I'd hoped originally, I thought, I talked to Reed Sanfilippo some time ago about, hey,
of America?
Yeah, of the American Survival Guide and Crawling Under a Broken Moon, which if somehow you heard this or heard of it, get well soon, Reed. But anyway, I'd hope to meet Reed and game with him. Well, now, God bless the poor guy. He's really sick right now. So let's all keep our fingers crossed. Positive energy prayers for Reed and his quick recovery. But yeah, so I mean, some of the people I'd hope to meet there aren't even going to be there, And honestly, it's a little disappointing. I mean, there's one guy who's in my game, and he's like, man, I played with you in TRPG, and oh man, I'm like, I love the energy, but you're it, man, but anyway. But
well, only the golds have signed up so far for GaryCon. The silvers are this weekend, and that's when you'll sell out.
So we'll hopefully it'll go through the roof on that.
And I don't think I have any takers. I haven't really looked.
Yeah.
But I don't think I have any takers at the moment. But I'm also running Barbarians of the Ruined Earth, which if you don't know anything about it, that's not a draw.
But I got to brag on my boy over here. His game might not be filling up, but there's somebody running 2 rounds of your module, Carnage in the Casino.
Which you have all these little things happen on the way, printing your module and all the steps along the way, and you're like, that's like the last cool thing that's going to happen. I've sent out all the modules now. That's the last cool thing that's going to happen. Oh wait, I need to send some into the store. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I'm starting to get some feedback in. That's really cool. And then it's like, wow, I'm looking at a convention and somebody is running something I wrote
in 2 slots.
So that's really another one of those like, wow, cool.
That's phenomenal. Because, I mean, this person, obviously they're running it. They liked it. They're
excited walking on air.
No. And then also, I'm going to brag on him again.
Do it.
Daniel Bishop, who's known online as the Raven Crow King or whatever. He's someone who's a person in the DCC community that a lot of people know. You're aware of him. And he's written actual product for DCC. Not just third party, I mean directly for them. He's done third party stuff. He's been involved in some of your favorite adventures where they'll have a number of different guys write it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. He was probably involved with your old favorite Shambling Undead. Mm-hmm. I know Beatty was, Wampler, some other. It was like this, hey, go get all the guys to riff and do parts. I know Daniel Bishop was involved with the Hypercube of Might, for sure. His contribution was the weird polyps. But anyway, so he gave some good energy and good thoughts to Eddie in regards to his adventure. Like, I got the PDF. It's awesome. I want a hard copy. So anyway, I'm just really excited for Eddie. I know he's excited because, I mean, you have to think,
praise from Caesar.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's enough about that though. We don't want
We don't
want his head to get any bigger.
I mean, this episode is looking pretty good for me. You think about that.
Pretty good. Exactly. Oh, and
I think we should call it right here.
And you're super excited, stoked right now to boot because Elden Ring.
Oh, you're all out of order now, sir.
I don't care. I'm an outlaw. I make my own rules, sir.
That comes at the end.
No.
Yeah.
No, the topic comes at the end. Everyone knows that.
Well, I mean, it comes at the end of the pop culture. The video games are the last thing.
Get with the pop culture, sir.
But since we can't review it yet, all we can do is say we're hyped up to play it.
We are hyped.
To play it.
To play.
We both got it pre-downloaded. So at 11 o'clock tonight on the PlayStation Network, we should be able to watch the day one download, update to fix all the bugs, and then maybe get to play it.
Yeah. Pre-downloaded for your pleasure. All right. What's our first thing after promoting the long con?
Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Viewer mail.
Viewer mail.
Listener mail.
Listener mail.
How can you believe it?
I didn't think that was a thing because we don't get that.
Exactly. So if you're out there, keep in mind, we would love to hear from you. Mm-hmm. That email address is
the No Class RPG Podcast at gmail.com.
.org.com.
Yeah.
But it's out there.
Because we could reiterate, we recently heaped and just stacked so much swag we sent to one of our faithful listeners who gave us a little input.
Yeah, and that was somebody that was sending it out to multiple shows. So, I mean, come on, guys. You send out one email to 6 different podcasts and see which one it sticks on. So,
but you see who the phrase that pays, who are going to hook you up.
It's us.
It's us. We're those guys.
And we're desperate to get your mail in. So we'll be happy to answer your questions here.
In the fetal position, crying, rocking back and forth, waiting for your email.
So Luke from Topeka asks, what pulp culture thing has impacted your gaming the most? And this thing can be like, this album has had the biggest, or this movie, or this book. What one thing would you give credit right now that influences your gaming? It can be your like world setting, or just how you play the game, or what you think about.
Wow, Luke, that is let's do something nice for Luke, because that's a brilliant, awesome question. But what I would have to say is, like, if you talked about fantasy, I think what really set the hook in my big love of fantasy and what's influenced what I enjoy as a gamer and a game master would probably be the Elric books, Elric of Melnibon. because that sort of that world and that flavor, that dark tone, and just some of the aspects of it have really impacted my fantasy gaming.
So are you trying to recreate that in any way in your games? Have you ever tried to build a fantasy world more like that?
Well, what's sad is, they back in the day they did a Stormbringer game, but I think Chaosium might have done it. Never played it, never owned it, never ran it. But yeah, definitely. I think in the past, definitely, I didn't try to like whole cloth like the Young Kingdoms and what's the island he's from? Oh, that kills me, man. But anyway, I can't think of it. But no, definitely for fantasy, the Elric books. Don't get me wrong though, I love the Conan books and Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, all that stuff. All the Appendix N stuff has had its impact. But if there was one that really resonated with me, I would say probably it was those books. What about you?
I'm going to go into the post-APOC, and I'm very tempted to say old Mad Max, because Road Warrior, boom, that was right in the pivotal time frame. But as usual, I'm going to fall back on my love of Vampire Hunter D and just the world that it creates. Even if you took D out of it, it's just a cool world building
genre. And that's what I was getting at. We're talking about. I was just going to go. Well, we're talking about fantasy, Elric, and again, you've already beat me to the punch. But I will say, when it comes to post APOC, man, Mad Max specifically, the Road Warrior. I owned that as a kid, and I wore out multiple copies of that VHS tape because, when people go, "What's your favorite movie?" No hesitation for years, like Road Warrior, because I don't know why, but I love that movie, and definitely when you think post APOC,
you were at the right age. It was very different.
Oh yeah.
So
and you've heard the story, I think, on this podcast where I somehow bamboozled my poor mother into taking me to see that as how old would I have been? 10, 11, 12-year-old, whatever. And 5 minutes into it, my mom goes, "We're leaving." And I was like, "No, ma'am. I would not leave." And she was like, "I'll be in the car," And I wasn't that kid, but I was like, I'll be damned. I've got to see this. And I'm glad I got to see it in the theater.
Yeah. And I think another one would be heavy metal.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. It definitely, because there's those different vignettes, man. There's World War II, sci-fi, post APOC, just weird gonzo, other world, kind of stuff. Yeah, man. Even that kind of Harry Canyon, noir kind of thing.
So if you want your kid to grow up and play MCC or Gamma World or something, sit them down right now and show him the Road Warrior and heavy metal.
As a byproduct, he might have a thing for big hooties. I don't know. Watching heavy metal. But anyway, ha.
I was flipping through Hulu or something the other day, and I was like, "Oh boy, they've got heavy metal. It's Heavy Metal 2000." I was like, keep clicking along.
And poor, what's her name, Belle, that was in that, died of some sort of brain thing a few years ago. It was really sad. What was it? What was her name? But the woman that was... She married the guy that was doing Heavy Metal Magazine that used to do Change. Sambita that did, I don't know. Anyway, went down a path there. But yeah, okay. So yeah, no, Luke, that's, phenomenal question. Yeah, man, no, great question. Yeah.
All right. Well, you too could be getting praise heaped upon you by your No Class podcast crew.
Do we have an address for Luke?
We do.
Good. We're going to send him some cool stuff.
We are.
A T-shirt at least. What size?
And maybe even some pajama bottoms.
I know. Some underoos.
Some boxers.
That's right. Imagine where we'll put the oval at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, if you had some of the butt flap pajamas, that would be perfect for it.
That's more important. Put us on the butt flap. Okay. Thank you again, Luke. That was awesome.
Books and comic books.
Books and comic books.
Have you read?
Sadly, I don't get to read nearly enough comic books.
Well, what about actual physical books?
I have continued. I'm nearly done with the Game Wizards.
Yeah, remember we promised you that episode so many moons ago.
Years ago. Oh, Dude, and I had the book laying right by. I've got
Empire of Imagination.
It's sitting right by the door. I'll bring it tonight to the game. I won't forget.
Tonight.
But yeah, and I realized something. I opened that one to check where I write the date I got it and my name in it. That was from January of 16. I didn't realize it'd been that long.
Well, speaking of that, we're pretty much at the 3-year anniversary of the podcast right now.
Wow. I did not know that. Well, cool. Happy anniversary, buddy.
3 years of this, folks.
Torture. All right.
Not a lot of books and comic books for me either, but I will say the Hulk 2022 and Thor 2022 are actually pretty cool. So the latest issues of those came out. So there's 2 comic books I can tell you I read. The Hulk now is continuing off of the Immortal Hulk. So it's a completely new storyline. Right now, David Banner is inside the Psyche, driving the Hulk body around like it's a starship.
Okay.
And the Hulk is in the engine room, and when he's like, turn up the power on the ship, he gets the Hulk as angry as possible, kind of like he's in the danger room. Mm-hmm. So he'll be fighting Wolverine or this, that, and the other. He's just making Hulk as mad as he can. Mm-hmm. So it was an interesting concept. I'm enjoying it. And right now he's just arrived in an alternate reality with another Bruce Banner. So it was kind of like there was a gamma bomb war. So the world is just littered with Hulks.
Oh, wow.
Instead of like, they made super mutants and ghouls, they made all these Hulks.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see where they're going. And then right now, Thor is still dealing with the unworthy Thor. And you remember when Jane Foster was Thor? It's because the hammer has been growing this evil entity in it.
Oh, no.
So now he's fighting that.
Mjolnir.
And Odin has just died again for the millionth time, right? But it breaks your heart every time.
Every time.
But Thor has the full Odin force now.
Oh,
so
goodness.
poop's about to hit the fan.
Exactly.
But that's how I nerded up for you on the comic book front.
That's pretty nerdy, but that's good. You appreciate that somebody was like talking about, oh yeah, my kid wants this action figure. It's for DC or something. It's called the Abomination. I said, excuse me, that's Marvel, the Abomination. And they were like, you know that? And I went, sadly, yes. And then they were like, oh, no, wait, it's something called the Swamp Thing. I said, now that's DC.
But I was going to say, who is the Hulk's big enemy, if not the Abomination or
the leader,
General Ross, or the leader, Samuel Stearns?
Yeah. But yeah, when you think
nerds,
of like, yeah, duh.
I know he used to fight the Rhino a lot.
That's true.
Back in our day. But that's always kind of a Spider-Man villain to me.
Yeah, exactly. When I think Rhino, I think Spider-Man, but yeah. And of course, how many times have the Thing and the Hulk fought? Too many.
Yeah. I think the Thing used to win a lot more of them back in the day.
But not nowadays. The Hulk's got too much love.
Yep. The Fantastic Four really dropped out of their popularity. Enjoy that chime, folks.
Yeah.
That was our dated 70s reference alert. That just chimed right there.
Yeah.
With your thing ring, do your thing.
That's right.
Okay, how about some TV shows? Did you make some time for TV since you couldn't bother to read?
Duh.
Good.
So on Prime, I've been watching Texas Rising, and it's the story of the Texas Revolution.
Now, was this the fight that they had to determine whether there was going to be beans and chili or not?
Well, my boy, the father of Texas,
I don't care,
was in it. And at one point, I think they do make reference to the fact it's like, give me some chili. And he spits it in their face because there's beans in it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If you have chili with no beans, you've just made sauce. Get yourself some spaghetti.
If there's beans, that you're eating some kind of stew. But anyway.
So this is your hot button topic right now, folks.
Exactly. This is our bone of contention. And it's funny because this guy's the genuine born and raised Texan.
So what I say goes. When I tell you how to put some stuff in boudin, you can talk about it.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
All right. But actually, I'm enjoying it. The writing and production values are not the best because this was something done by the History Channel. But the acting is really good because you've got Bill Paxton. You've got a number of people who you know. Who's the guy that all the kids all of a sudden love now that was in The Mummy?
Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser's in it. there's a number of other actors that you'll go, oh yeah, that guy. Shooter McGavin's in it.
I eat turds like you for breakfast.
Exactly. So there's a lot of good actors in it, and so the acting's good. The writing, like I said, directing maybe, and the production values aren't the best, but I've enjoyed it. And if you're not familiar with the Texas Revolution, what a great way to learn about that awesomeness.
Now, if you're from Texas, you had to take Texas history in the 8th grade.
Exactly. And you should know all this stuff.
And you'd have already known all of this.
Yeah. So Texas Rising, and just...
What was the Louisiana movie?
Oh, shut up.
Texas Rising, actually, Louisiana.
Blaze.
Yeah.
Huey P. Long wearing his work boots to bed. Well, the only thing in Louisiana you get is the story of corruption, and that never ends. So in the vein of shows and TV shows and whatnot, there all of a sudden, boom, there's more Futurama coming, which this guy's rolling his eyes over here, and I don't blame him. There's more King of the Hill coming.
Really?
And there's more Beavis and Butthead coming. Which
boy.
So Mike Judge has been let off the chain, I guess.
I think Beavis and Butthead are going to be adults now.
Yeah. I've seen pictures of them. They look like themselves, but aged, 20, 30 years. Now,
the thing is, I guess MTV is still around, but it doesn't play videos, which was the best part of Beavis and Butthead, was them cracking on the videos.
Yeah.
Are they not going to be able to do that at all, I wonder?
Or are they going to bring back some other old videos and crack on them? I don't know.
Or are they going to do the new stuff?
Are they going to make fun of WAP? I don't know.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't have the nerve. They're rebooting Highlander with our boy Henry Cavill or whatever.
You mean Ernesto's boy?
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And that's exciting. The Doctor Strange trailer is out. It sounds trippy. And I have not been excited about a Marvel movie in a while. I'm kind of excited about this one. It's what Doctor Strange in the Megaverse of Mysteriousness or something. I don't know. It's going to be good.
Multiverse of Madness.
Thank you. There is a Fallout show that is being produced, and Walton Goggins has been cast.
Walter?
Yeah, from The Hateful Eight and Justified.
And The Shield.
Yeah.
Big fan of that show, if you haven't checked it out, folks.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of interesting stuff coming down the pipe.
Oh, well, if you're talking about TV shows that are about to come out, do you know about The Boys Diabolical?
No.
Yeah, they're getting their own animated anthology.
Really?
Kind of set in that world, starting on March the 4th. So it should be pretty good. And
cool.
Like the anthology thing, you can watch one episode and you don't have to see the next one, that sort of thing. Or one could be really good and the next one could be really crappy.
So is this like while they're waiting for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is but I think the next season should be coming pretty fast too.
Yeah.
And then they'll drop it out one at a time.
Are these actors doing the voice work? Do you know?
I think it's a mix.
Oh.
Probably some of the time they do, but I know in at least one of them, Simon Pegg is going to be playing Huey.
Oh, wow.
Because one of them, they're doing more in the gritty, The Boys world of the comics.
Oh, okay.
So.
Interesting.
Anything else for TV?
No.
I will say I've been watching South Park, the new episodes for the 25th season.
Wow.
Can you believe it? 25 years. And so far, so good. They've started off pretty hot. Some of the seasons have been better than others. And as these things drag out, like I don't want to watch any more Simpsons.
Yeah, God, no.
But so far, I mean, South Park's been plugging along.
Those guys have kept it fresh. It's funny, I don't know if I'd mentioned this in a recent podcast or not, but I had recently, while I had access to HBO Plus or Max or whatever, I've been watching the old seasons. I'm up to about season 3, starting from the beginning, working my way up. And if some of those either I don't remember or never saw them, like the Streisand bot or whatever, never seen that.
Mecha Streisand.
Yeah. So
thanks, Robert Smith. The Cure is the greatest album. Disintegration's the greatest album ever.
Yeah. But it's like some of the early season 1, 2, I was like, ooh, that's not aged well.
Oh, no. I mean,
not aged well at all.
It was really shock value in the beginning.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we'll give you a laugh because a elephant makes love to a pig.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely gotten better. At some point, maybe third season or something like that, there was a turn and it really got good.
Yeah.
Okay. How about some movies?
I talked about Doctor Strange coming, whatever, blah blah blah. But yeah, no.
So, we did have a little feedback from our buddy Durthan.
Oh, go ahead.
Free Guy is good.
Okay,
is what
good.
he was talking about.
Okay, because he heard me talking about liking it.
Yeah,
he liked it.
Because I was like, I've been thinking about checking it out. So I got the thumbs up from you and from our buddy Durthan.
And so you liked it?
I hated it.
Good,
it was the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
I could believe
it should be covered in manure and launched in a rocket to the sun.
Right.
That's gonna. I think that's gonna be the new catchphrase. Yeah. Let's save that for the Twitch show.
So
but I liked it.
Good.
But I think it's 2 hours long.
Yeah. It could have been a little shorter.
It's a little long.
I agree.
What happened to the 90-minute movie?
Yeah. And definitely popcorn movies like that should be 90 minutes. Thank you. So Durthan, Drew, Fergie, had recommended I watch St. Vincent, which is a movie with Bill Murray.
Okay.
And what's her name? The heavyset gal? Not so much anymore. McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. Per his direction. Thank you for the tip there, Ferg.
A tip of the hat to the tip of the movie.
That's right. Just the tip.
So Free Guy was pretty good. Lots of the video game tropes, but it could have been cut back a little bit more.
Yeah, it went a little long.
Now, how about this? Have you... Oh, go ahead. Cut in.
So what was the funniest... What really made you like spit your teeth out?
Dude
was pretty funny. Yeah, Dude definitely. But he had a cameo in this, but he was hilarious with the teabagging and stuff. He was in Magic Mike. He did the TV. He did 21 Jump Street with what's his name? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about. Come on, man, don't leave me hanging here.
I'm leaving you hanging.
Yeah, but he
Dangle.
He was speaking of Dangle. Yeah, he kept like the people doing video games like they'll teabag. Anyway, he did all that stuff. He was hilarious. I can't think of his name. Anyway, but he was really good in that. His little cameos.
Well, I enjoyed Captain America.
Oh yeah.
His little pop up in there.
Yeah. That's killing me. I can't think of his name.
Oh, you will. But first, you're going to think about your favorite actors, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Right? In your top 10 movie stars, if that would put your butt in a seat, where do those rank?
No.
Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. So what is your opinion on seeing The Last Duel, and have you heard of it?
Actually, The Last Duel really had my attention, but I like Driver. I think he's an unsung actor.
See, I hate him because of the Star Wars connection.
And I get that, but as he redeemed himself,
hate those Kylo Ren, blah blah blah.
But it's not his fault. Again, we talk about
wait.
Go ahead.
Let's take a moment to hate Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
just one minute.
Hate. Okay, good deal.
So, between all of them being in the movie, the big three, as we'll call them, I was like, I'm not seeing that movie.
Yeah, Adam Driver would, but Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, I'm like.
But then I saw that movie,
and
it was pretty damn good.
Say what you will about, but your boy, I looked at the videos and I said that actually looks kind of cool.
I haven't seen any. I didn't watch any previews.
I had seen a trailer by accident or something, and I was like, that does, because I love stuff from that time period. Though I'm a history buff, history guy. Don't make that. See, this is where we're on video. It's going to suck because you whatever.
Well, I mean, come on, like you like, and I like. Was it Black Death?
Black Death's okay,
but that's not historically accurate.
No.
And then what's the one with our boy Pettifoy?
As I said, Ironclad.
But is that historically accurate?
God, no.
So there you go. We like these medieval movies. What I will debate is, I like the historically accurate.
Well, no, but I'll tell you this. I've known people that were in the SA like I was that are the worst. You're watching a movie and they'll go, ugh, that hilt would not be on that sword in that time period. And I'm like, I know that, but I'm not the guy at least you can appreciate that blurts that out. I just sit over here quietly going, you wouldn't see that sword on a Cossack in that time period. But I'm not that worried about it. I'm not going to be that guy. That guy.
So anyway.
Yeah.
The Duel. Really good. So if you want some pretty cool action scenes of the medieval fights, it's got you covered.
Cool,
There's one point, and I don't think this is spoilerific.
Spoilers.
But Matt Damon's at war here, and I'm glad they got James Hetfield to do an imitation of him. Because that's what he looks like in the movie. He looks like James Hetfield now. Have you seen that?
No, but
Yeah. Oh. So he's fighting this guy, and they've already gone at each other with swords and axes and everything else, but this is in the big hand-to-hand melee thing. He rips this dude's like piece of chainmail off of him, balls it up around his fist, and starts punching him in the face. I was like, boom, right there.
Yeah, solid cut. That's the admission price right there.
But well, there's one of your mighty deeds. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I like that.
So I mean, it wasn't all straight up sword to sword, noble, honorable combat. It's like one of us is going to live. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's one of those things that was disappointing about the rules in the SCA, because I'm like, I can't do a shield bash. No.
But the fights are good. So if you're like, I hate those guys, you can turn off the sound and watch a lot of the fight scenes. But the historical drama behind it was really good too.
That's good to hear.
So I highly recommend that movie to you, and it is 3 hours long. I think it's 2:45.
Good Lord. And that's why it didn't do well. Too long.
But I love the whole thing.
But it didn't do well at all. And it's sad because they really promoted it. They really talked it up. They're like, oh, Ben Affleck and Matt
it's a Ridley Scott, I think, if I'm remembering that correctly. But he says those darn millennials and their phones ruin the movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like,
oh, Ridley.
I think a lot of people were probably the same mindset of us. There was one or two of those actors that you didn't care for. So I was like, I'm not rushing out to the theater to see that.
Right, that's what he's saying is most people thought, I'll wait and see it on video or whatever. And that's probably his mindset, that mindset of my phone or whatever.
Well, I think he was also like, it's too long for audiences and they don't have the attention span.
And I'll laugh because you got to figure all my coworkers, young and not so young, are like, oh boy, have you seen this TikTok video? One of those all about 10, 15, 30 seconds. And it's like people's attention spans are kind of getting shorter and shorter.
Oh yeah, I've definitely ruined mine. And I still got through that 3-hour movie.
Yeah.
And was like, heck yes.
Yeah.
And the best part was because I'm, potty training the pup and all that, that ended up being like a 4 or 5 hour movie for me probably, just because everything
breaks.
popped up while you're trying to do it. Yeah. But even with all that said, I loved it. And I think that also goes back to the point of Free Guy being 2 hours and too long. If you could do this movie for 3 hours and leave me going, I could have watched a little bit more. And they couldn't. I mean, still Free Guy's good, but make some edits.
For what it is, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Go see Free Guy. Go see The Duel.
Yeah.
Man, really, really highly recommending that one to you.
I'm going to have to check that out now because you've gushed.
I'm gushing, folks.
Oh, my.
But because I'm not allowed to do such things, let me poop all over a movie.
Oh, my.
This is one of those random things that pops up on Hulu. Last Days Here. So the story of the band Pentagram, the heavy metal band Pentagram. Not familiar?
Never heard of them.
I think I've heard of them, but I go pretty deep in those things sometimes.
Hard edge, a little deeper, a little darker than mine.
But they're playing some of their music, and I think they had done some stuff in the 80s that kind of flopped out. But they're like, well, they were also recording in the 70s, and they have a bunch of unreleased 70s stuff. And when they're playing it, you're like, that sounds like some Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
I need to check these guys out.
Yeah.
And then you watch the movie, which is about the lead singer and how he's been hooked on crack for the last 40 years. And just is this A&E intervention? He cannot get his crap together no matter how life tries to throw him another lifeline. He screws it up and screws it up and screws it up. And you're like, screw this guy.
This guy is his own worst enemy in the worst sort of way.
Yeah, he's living in his parents' basement. And I mean, he was doing stuff in the 70s, so he's got to be 60 or something now. And a lot of times after I watch these movies, I'll go look stuff up, like the facts. How are they now? Well, he's living in the basement. He was living in his parents' basement 20 years ago. And I saw there's a relatively recent story. It might be 5 or 10 years ago that he was convicted for abuse of an elder caregiver or something like that. And they're like, yeah, they believe that he was beating up his mom or something like that. And I'm like, this disgusts me. I mean, I was slightly interested in your music when I first heard it, but then separate the art from the artist. No, that's one that I'm going to miss out on, I guess. So if it comes up on your random recommendations, if you like intervention shows and you like seeing people whose lives are just a freaking mess, it's for you. But it wasn't for me.
Well, like you were kind of depressed, need a shower after that.
It's almost like being around somebody is that scummy, and you're like, why? Yeah. Why are we spending any time? Kind of like some of the, maybe not Game of Thrones or whatever, but where you've got a book or a movie about a really unlikable protagonist, and you're like, why are we spending any time with this? Or I hate everybody in this show or movie.
Well, you have to think, if any part of those proceeds went to him, you almost feel bad about that. Like, he didn't deserve it. You know, why give him that much attention? You know, why keep his name alive?
Yeah,
he and his name should die. All right,
and be shot into the sun on a rocket. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. All right. So unless you've got anything else, it's topic time.
Topic time. What?
Topic time. Topic time. And it's a little too late for us to have any listener engagement, but the topic today is player engagement.
Player engagement. Yo, playa. Who puts in the real work?
You already said it's me.
Right. But in gaming, who puts in the work?
Me?
Exactly. The game master puts in the work.
Oh.
And when you work, you expect a payoff, right?
This is leading somewhere, isn't it?
It is. That payoff, what is the return on that investment that we as game masters do? By what metric do we measure the payoff?
Gold coins.
Exactly.
Player tiers.
Exactly. So many tiers.
When you get advanced like me, though, you'll start collecting GM tiers. Thanks, Garrett.
Player engagement. What is player engagement?
What is it?
What is it? Not necessarily the player's enjoyment of the game, but that is a desirable outcome. Some people...
I hope they enjoy it.
Exactly. Some people are not as overt or apt to communicate pleasure with the game or the game master. An unspoken component of engagement is attentiveness. Huh? Exactly.
What?
If a player is inattentive, what do you do?
Usually, I have a ruler, and I smack them on the knuckles.
On the knuckles. Good. Do you wear a little nun outfit when you do that? That's the verisimilitude that we need.
That's how you bring them back into the game.
Is it an off night for them or for you?
Or both.
Exactly. Could be. So what could you do?
Smack them on the knuckles.
Or just toss the table, just flip it and go, I'm out of here.
Or quit.
Exactly. Just, I quit. I'm out of here. Or, this sounds crazy, take a short break and assess the situation.
I can't wait until we get the Twitch video responses.
I know. In an ideal world, the players would speak up with immediate feedback as frequently as they feel disengaged. I'm not engaged because I'm tired. I'm not interested in this story. Annoyed with the rules. I had a bad day at work. My wife just left me. My character isn't at all relevant to this situation. That would be nice, but players aren't always going to speak up, you know.
Wouldn't it be weird if they did, though? If the whole time you're doing something, they're like, I'm not engaged because my character is not important to this part. I'm the fighter and you're in the library now, so I don't care. Yeah. And you just like kind of reading people's thoughts the whole time.
It's like, if that kind of, what was it, a Mike Myers thing? My mother has no internal dialogue or whatever.
She was a thief. You have to believe.
Yep. So let's say that you take a break. Like, okay, let's take 5 minutes. Maybe you pull that one player aside and you might go, hey, man, everything cool? Everything
We're going to take 5 minutes until you guys start paying attention.
Get your crap together. Because I will say that one time years ago, there was a guy that came to the game and he just seemed really out of it the whole night. But he came to the game. Somebody would have stayed home. And I pulled him aside like about during a break in the minute. I said, everything okay? And he goes, my wife just left me. And I'm like, oh, my God. And I'm like, well, no wonder. And you were hoping the game would cheer you up. I need to really amp this up, I guess, or draw you out of it. But no, he was down and he made sure everybody was down that night. Yeah, God bless him. Anyway, yes. So, but let's say it's not just that one guy. Let's say everyone's bored. Hit the PCs with something exciting, unexpected encounter, a challenge. If the one lone player is bored, you could try and engage them with the challenge that utilizes their skills and abilities. Like, let's say
hit them with something.
Yeah. Say that like that character is the skill monkey. or whatever, then have some encounter that's going to engage his character skills. Or, as a player, this guy is really better at puzzles or something. You might introduce a puzzle or something.
Or if you're in the library with the whole party and the fighter is bored, have some of the bookcases start falling and he's got to make the check to use his strength to stop it from falling on them or something like that. I see where you're... Yep.
Yeah. So find a way to engage him in that situation. And you might, because honestly, no offense, there's some people out there going, well, I'm some world-class GM, and of course I already thought of that. But for some people, they go, oh, I didn't think of that. That you knew you wanted to have that research encounter, but the guy playing the barbarian's going to be bored. Yeah, have some, like you said, a large bookcase get knocked over, or say that some evil guy comes in and enchants the books and they attack or something like that.
Or have some big scarab beetles start crawling into the player's skin and then... Oh wait, no, that was something else. I think.
I like it. Players and GMs need to communicate. Though we can keep things through this, we can keep things fresh and lively. But we have to know how to communicate properly. Because just kind of you were joking about, but I could see there are some people that we game with that are different, that wouldn't necessarily know how to communicate this. So hopefully they can. There's a time and a place in what you say. Your game sucks. This guy's a cheater, a liar, whatever. In combat and out of combat, try and engage the players and their characters. Have challenges that utilize their skills. Have a combat that gives them each a chance to shine. One thing I like about, say, Black Hack and its derivatives is the GM isn't rolling dice. And I feel like that frees you up to focus on narrative, on the story, on engaging the characters. I've heard much praise about when you ran, again, this is your podcast.
Wow.
Praise when you've run Test of a Hero and whatnot.
Don't let it in.
Yeah. Where you were doing it very free form and improv or whatever. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, you were free to just do that and not roll the dice and worry about that. That freed you up to do that. And you've got a lot of good feedback and praise with that. So, so I'm just giving an example of one of the things that's nice about Black Hack is it frees you up to focus on the narrative and engage in the players. What can you think of anything else would be a good way to engage the players or communicate, facilitate communication between the players and the game masters?
You hear everybody talk about a session 0.
Brilliant.
And that's the other thing too, is kind of like, what do you want to get out of this?
What are the expectations?
Are you guys all about combat? So I need to drop some of this other stuff. What do you want this game to be? And as they say, if you want to do your taxes, that's fine. You can do your taxes if that's what you want to get out of the game.
And I wasn't going to mention session 0 because I thought we've already covered that quite a bit on the cast. But no, brilliant. And I even thought about mentioning that.
But just because you had a session 0 doesn't mean you can't have a session 10.5 where it's like, okay, now that we're into this, is this still going the way you thought it would? Are you getting enough action? Are you getting enough
intrigue?
Role playing?
Yeah.
Does this need to be tweaked at all?
Yeah. And that's you really hit the nail on the head there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's, one thing I like about, like I said, GM isn't just frees you up to focus. Hopefully enables you to interact more with each PC and their narrative. And that's great because like I said, the players, and like you even said, after you've been playing for a while and they thought they knew how they wanted to play their character, what they wanted to do, or they might go, now that I'm seeing how you run the campaign, like, okay, for instance, recently we're doing Deadlands in Savage Worlds. And everybody had their dream character and having fun and they're playing. We're having a good time. And then the holidays hit and kind of kibosh things. But one of the players had been playing an Oriental fighter. Can I say Oriental? I don't know. Anyway.
You can't.
Yeah. Asian, whatever. But, and he had fun with that as a martial artist to a certain degree because he's like, oh my God, this is way effective. Yeah, you're effective. But he quickly learned there was some role playing, there was some interaction, there was other stuff. And he said, I'm not sure that this character is the best fit and that I'm having that much fun playing him. And I said, well, make a different character. Sure. We can segue that in. And then the campaign went sideways. But I'll just say that, that's where you see as a player, after you've been playing for a while, a good GM should go, what? Yeah, if you think you want to change your character a little bit or your concept, as long as it's not someone doing this stuff, you get that person who's like, I want to change my concept a month later. I want to change my pick something, stick with it, but again, find that middle ground, So you game masters sometimes are unappreciated, or sometimes I found some websites where they're like, quit ballyhooing all your work, game masters. And I'm like, really? But anyway, the game masters put in the work, but what your way to pay them back for the hard work they do is feedback through engagement or feedback if you're not engaged, and let them know why. And in the nicest way possible, maybe go, your campaigns are awesome. You're a great game master, mistress, whatever. I don't know that my character, I don't feel that engaged or whatever. And yeah, by all means, try to facilitate, and sometimes it just happens. There might be that one scene in the night where your character's not involved. Well, as long as that's a rare instance, I don't think that's, there's going to be some out there going, how terrible I wasn't engaged. How often does that happen? If it's once in one scene every 5 sessions, it's okay. My character in the thing I'm playing in right now, I'm playing a stoic kind of a quieter character. So people probably look at me like, wow, you're not very engaged. Well, no, I'm playing a different kind of character for me, so I'm still having
kind of like
fun.
when I was playing Wondar. Yeah. And I was like, Wondar can't come up with any brilliant plans.
Yeah.
So
you probably had a million in your head, but Wondar, the character you're playing, ding, 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 and that's the thing. So, and we ask ourselves, you might go, wow, well, did you feel like you were kind of left out? Well, no, because you decided to play that character. Admittedly, he wanted to play a different character, but he played that one for a friend.
Because I'm a hero.
And a good friend. What a great guy. All right. Was there anything else you would add to player engagements or to that topic or riff on that?
The only thing that I will add in kind of goes back to what we were already saying about knowing your players' expectations and what they want. Mm-hmm. Because running some of the Osric and running some more old school stuff, one of our old favorites, doors and corridors. I don't know how that was so baked into the original. And I don't know if that's another one of those, because of your cell phones, you must be entertained every second of every adventure or something like this. There can be no lulls.
Unless there's Jim getting their lulls.
Yeah. So that's one of those things that you have to consider and think about. Doors and corridors. How much of that is there? How much is good for your game? How much do you lose your player engagement during that? So every session doesn't have to be Mad Max Fury Road, but if every session is some long drawn out dull movie,
Pride and Prejudice or something,
So you've got to really walk that fine line and figure out what your players want.
Right. And it goes back to, again, what you so wonderfully brought up, the session 0. What's the expectation so I can set the tone?
And session 0 doesn't have to end. That doesn't mean we had feedback when we started and we never discussed it again.
Yeah,
you can never change anything.
Feedback. You didn't speak up then. No, because like I said, you might be a few sessions in and go, oh, I didn't really quite grok what you were saying, and now I do. And oh, yeah, no. And honestly, it hurts my heart that there are people that won't speak up and they'll drift away, go away, disappear. And you go, what happened? And then you hear through the grapevine through somebody that they'll trust to communicate with that, oh, yeah, Jim didn't like what the one, well, we could have changed them. Why didn't they speak up? Why didn't they talk to me? But and then that's where you as a game master need to have a thick skin, though. As long as they're not being just like, your game sucks. It's like, no, that's not how you give me feedback. But if they go, I really like this better and I don't know that I like that, have a thick skin. Take a step back and go, okay, but then here's the shame. I hear horror stories about everyone's loving a campaign. There's one person that comes in and they're a seagull. They fly in, make a bunch of noise, crap on everything, and then fly away. Well, who's the odd person out here? But I love the mentality. People are like, well, you should all bend to my will and what I want. The world doesn't revolve around you, So anyway, make sure you're not that person either that, I don't like the way the campaign's going. Well, if everyone else looks like they're having a blast, try to find a way to make it work with a different character, maybe, or for you to have more fun.
Or maybe if it's not for you, step away if you're ruining other people's fun.
Yeah. Or if you're not, but you're just not having fun. Well, this isn't the game. There was one game one time I was going to play in, and and I loved the sound of it. I was excited about it. And then all of a sudden, one new guy stepped in and was like, I'll play, but you have to have this and this and do this and this. And I was like, well, I'm out. And someone were like, but we want you, Matt. And I said, I'm very flattered and that's sweet. But I was like, it sounds like you guys are happy with that. And that guy made the caveat, like, I'm not in unless you do all this stuff. Y'all have fun with him. But that doesn't sound fun to me, and I'm out. And I wasn't butthurt about it. I wasn't pouting. I wasn't taking my toys and going home. I was just like, I got so many opportunities to game. I'll be okay. Y'all have your fun, Not for me, thanks. And I was just stepped away, politely.
politely.
Yep. So yeah, definitely player engagement. Because I think we've mentioned on the podcast before, but I know we've had that conversation when we've been to cons or local games, and we see that the players just really engaged with the content and laughed and cried and hooted and slapped the table and cheered when the dice rolled the right thing. Man, you walk out of there, barely fit your head through the doorway. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm a game master, boy. Yeah.
But then you get sometimes stuck in the game where you're like, I would chew my arm off to get out of here right now.
We've had that, which make for great stories sometimes from the cons.
If only there was a polite way to say, thank you, but I'm done with this.
If only there's a way to step out and text your buddy going, hey, I'm texting you.
Grab my stuff. I ain't coming back.
Grab my stuff. I'm not coming back ever, I'm not saying we've ever done that at a con, but
we have.
We have. I love that. Oh, my friend needs a ride home. There's an emergency. What's the emergency? None of your business.
That he doesn't want in this game anymore.
He don't want to be in this game, or he's going to die if he stays. He's going to die. But anyway, that was only one time. But God, that was the worst. The worst. All right.
But speaking of dying,
yeah,
I could tell by the clock on the wall, we're all out of hit points.
Rosebud.